members as first-level ambassadors towards leadership and commitment to its successful implementation. Water Resources Minister Suleiman Adamu announced this while briefing newsmen after the council's meeting. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that far-reaching measures have also been taken towards boosting revenue collection, curtailing smuggling activities, and enhancing critical infrastructure for economic growth and development.
So that we have a seamless policies regarding sanitation in the country. We also requested for an annual budget of about 10.6 billion to be approved.
And the Court of Appeal sitting in Abuja says it will dispense justice with equity in the presidential election petitions before it. The president of the court, who is leading the 5-man panel of justices, Justice Zainab Bukachua, gave the assurance at the inaugural sitting of the court, which is adjudicating on the petitions arising from the conduct of the 2019 presidential elections.
Elections are held in Nigeria every 4 years into elective positions. No matter how well the election is conducted, there are bound to be complaints. Hence, the law provides for the setting up of election petition tribunals to look into these complaints in a speedy manner.
Away from the judiciary, a 13-member governing board of the Northeast Development Commission has been inaugurated by President Muhammadu Buhari in fulfillment of his administration's pledge to regenerate the socio-economic potentials of the devastated region. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that a take-off grant of 10 billion naira is provided for the Commission in the 2019 budget, in addition to the 45 billion naira appropriated for its operations under the Northeast Intervention Program.
As a matter of urgency, conduct comprehensive survey of all states in the zone to determine the reconstruction and rehabilitation needs of all the socio-economic sectors of the zone and develop an intervention master plan based on outcome of your assessments.
And now to the legislature, where the clamor for the strengthening of local government system in Nigeria by granting it financial autonomy resonated on the floor of the Senate. Correspondent reports that the senators canvassed support for effective implementation of the new policy on local government accounts, which is to take effect from 1st of June 2019, when joint local government accounts will only serve as a receipt account for allocation with a daily cash transaction limit of 500,000 naira.
Is clearly to support the local government in a way so that they can begin to provide one or two services and therefore help our citizens.
Whatever goes to local governments are under direct control of the chief executive officers of the states. Some of them could not even pay salaries. It's not that the laws are not there, the laws are just complying with the laws.
In another development, 4 standing committees of the House of Representatives were this week dispatched to Port Harcourt, Rivers State, to unravel the truth on allegations of killings by security operatives during the March 2019 governorship and state assembly elections. National Assembly correspondent reports that the committees conducted a public hearing at the Rivers State House of Assembly complex.
Going through this memo, I've given graphic details, local government by local government, of the atrocities perpetrated by the military during the election.
I understand that it was one of these police patrol team that shot him to death.
Elections are civil activities, a way of transiting from one democratic regime to another. But in Rivers State, it was like a battlefield.
And that's the news for now. Good Morning Nigeria continues with Jimmy and Kingsley after this break. To stay with us.
NTA Television College Jos announces admissions into 2-year diploma programs in film and television production, television engineering, and broadcast journalism. The sale of forms will commence on the 13th of May and run through 30th July 2019. Admission forms can be obtained from all marketing offices, NTA state capital stations, zonal centers, or at the office of the academic secretary, NTA Television College, Rayfield, Jos.
On payment of a non-refundable fee of 7,500 naira in bank draft in favor of NTA TV College. Applicants can also obtain the forms through the NTA TV College portal at www.ntatvc.edu.nj.
Applicants are required to possess 5 credits in GCE or SSCE in relevant areas of study in not more than 2 sittings, including English and mathematics. All properly completed forms attached with photocopies of credentials must be submitted on or before 30th July 2019. For further inquiries, please visit our website at ntatvc.com or call 0803-3144-383.
NTA TV College, training you to be the best you want to be.
Registrar Announcer.
There's a smarter way to live with Airtel Binge Plan, the ideal data plan for those heavy data moments. Get a 2 GB daily binge plan for 500 naira. Dial *141# to activate. Live smarter with data.
Airtel, the smartphone network. Nigerians. Suicide bombers are not spirits. They are not ghosts. They are human beings like you and me. They live amongst us. They are your neighbors. They are your friends today, but terrorists tomorrow. So you must know your neighbor now. Security begins with you and me. Know your neighbor. Be vigilant. Be security conscious. Report suspicious persons, objects, and movements to the police and other security agencies. The security of our nation is a duty for you and me.
If you see something, say something. Nigeria unite against terrorism. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
All right, if you just joined us, it's Good Morning Nigeria live on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority. It's time for us now to take a look at the stories on the front pages of some of today's newspapers.
And Bayo Atoyebi, our newspaper reviewer, is here in the studio. Good morning, Bayo.
Thank you, Juma. Good morning. Good morning, Kinsley. Good morning, Nigeria.
Right, Bayo, good to see you. Let's begin by taking a look at the Daily Trust. Daily Trust newspaper has it as its lead story, and you also have that story on the front pages of other papers, I believe, including the Nigerian Tribune. The Daily Trust has it, Ganduje approves 4 new Emirates in Kano. And with the rider, Kano Emirate official faces anti-graft agency today. Now, there's an illustration there on the front page of the paper showing the new Emirates that have been created by the Kano state government. You can see the map of Kano state there, and then the new Emirates that have been created. One is Kano. The other, of course, Kano is the old emirate, and then, of course, it's now been split into 5. Rano, Gaya, Bichi, and one other. And the number of local governments under each of the emirates. Kano has 10, an equal number also with Rano. And the others have 8, 7, and 9. So that illustration there, of course, gives you a graphic representation. If we can have that shot, yes, you would see that much more clearly now on the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper. Now, below that, you have other headlines. Suspected thugs disperse NLC protesters at Ngige's residence. That's page 7. Senate presidency, Buhari won't ask me to step down. That's according to Ndume. And SEC approves MTN's listing on stock market. Details on page 17. And then below the nameplate of the Daily Trust newspaper, there's this headline, Power grid collapses and outage spreads. Details can be found on page 17. Power grid collapses, outage spreads.
page 17. Juma?
Kesley, the Nigerian pilot is next, and just below the masthead, we have NLC barricades entrance to Ngige's residence over NSITF chairmanship tussle. That's on page 12. Moving on, we have election tribunal. Imo tops list with 76 election petition cases, gets 6 panels. You find that on page 8. The headlines on the Nigerian pilot reads, Presidential Election Petition Tribunal commences sitting. With a rider, Tribunal President assures Nigerians of fairness and fearlessness. Says parties will get equal opportunity to present their case. Places media gag on lawyers representing parties at the tribunal. You find that on page 8. And our picture message has President Muhammadu Buhari, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, Chairman of Northeast Development Commission, Major General Paul Toffa, and others during their swearing in by the President at the Presidential Villa yesterday. Just below the picture message, appeal court to deliver verdict on Osun gubernatorial dispute today. You find that on page 5. At the bottom plate of the Nigerian pilot, failure to manage diversity, bane of Nigerians' problems. Bishop Kuka, that's on page 10. DSS reveals new fraud pattern targeted at government officials. You find that on page 8. Witch hunt, no harm must fall, Saraki orders, PDP cautions. You find that on page 6. Senate summons minister overwrought in teaching hospitals. That's on page 6. Maintain standard of Port Harcourt Airport, Abuja tells fan. Federal government allocation, NGF hasn't taken a decision, spokesperson, page 10.
Well, the development in Kano means that Kano now has 5 emirates. This will lead to the upgrading of the current district heads to first-class status as emirs. The new emirates are Karai, Bichi, Rano, and Gaya. It's not the first time this has been muted. Actually, as far back as 1982, Auyo, Dusi, Gaya, and Rano were upgraded as first-class emirate status, but it was reversed in 1983. Dusi and Auyo are now in Jigawa State. Meanwhile, the Kano State Emirate Council is now to comprise of 5 emirs, with the secretary to the state government being a member. Other members are the commissioner for the local government and all local government chairmen, and then 2 kingmakers from each of the 5 emirates. There will also be 5 other members appointed by the governor. The chairmanship of the Emirate Council is to be on rotational basis among all the emirs. The bill was actually brought forward by, or through a petition by an entity, a West Africa for Legal Aid Council. And the argument was that the establishment of the emirate will enhance traditional institutions' contribution to the political, social, religious, and development initiatives, as well as peace in the area. The other news that has stunned everybody is the planned protest by Nigerian Labour Congress and NUPENG that went violent yesterday. NLC and NUPENG were protesting the apparent delay in inaugurating of the board of the Nigeria Social Investment Insurance Trust Fund. And as they were protesting towards the street of the home of the minister, it was said that